In the late 1960s, Northern California entered a period of fear unlike anything America had experienced before. This was not the work of a criminal who wanted to escape unnoticed. This was the work of someone who wanted to be seen, heard, and remembered. He did not hide his crimes. He announced them. He named himself. And he turned murder into a psychological war against an entire state. He called himself the Zodiac. The story began on December 20th, 1968, near a quiet stretch of road called Lake Herman Road in Berryessa, California. Two teenagers, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, were parked together late at night. There was no sign of trouble, no warning. Suddenly, another vehicle pulled in behind them. What happened in the next few minutes would mark the beginning of one of the most terrifying crime sprees in American history. David was shot at close range. Betty Lou tried to run. She was shot multiple times and collapsed only a few feet away. The killer disappeared into the darkness, leaving behind no witnesses, no clear motive, and no explanation. Police initially treated the crime as an isolated act of violence. There was nothing to suggest this was the start of something larger. No message, no claim of responsibility, just two young lives taken without reason. For months, the case went cold. Then, on July 4th, 1969, it happened again. A young couple, Darlene Farron and Michael Majot, were sitting in their car at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. Another vehicle approached and stopped nearby. Moments later, a man stepped out, approached the car, and opened fire. Darlene was killed. Michael survived, badly wounded but alive. Before police could even fully process the crime scene, a call came in. The voice on the phone was calm, controlled, almost emotionless. The caller claimed responsibility for both the Lake Herman Road murders and the Blue Rock Springs attack. He provided details only the killer would know. Then he hung up. That phone call changed everything. This was no longer a random killer. This was someone who wanted recognition, someone who wanted control, someone who was beginning a carefully planned game. Weeks later, newspapers across California received letters. Handwritten strange, threatening. Each envelope contained symbols, coded messages, and a demand. The killer insisted his letters be published on the front page, or he would continue killing. He signed each letter with a mysterious symbol, a circle crossed by a vertical line. For the first time, the public heard the name he chose for himself, Zodiac. The letters terrified the public and overwhelmed law enforcement. Inside them were ciphers, complex coded messages unlike anything police had seen before. The killer challenged the public to decode them. He promised that his identity would be revealed inside the code. Newspapers debated whether publishing the letters would encourage more violence. Families begged them not to, but the fear was already spreading. When one of the ciphers was finally cracked by civilians, the message revealed something chilling. It did not reveal the killer's name. It did not explain his motives. Instead, it declared that he enjoyed killing, that it was fun, that people were nothing more than targets. There was no anger, no justification, no remorse, only pleasure. And the Zodiac was just getting started. As the Zodiac's letters appeared in newspapers, fear spread far beyond California. This was no ordinary killer. He wasn't hiding, he was communicating. And every message made it clear that he believed he was smarter than the police, smarter than the media, and in complete control of the situation. The Zodiac's next confirmed attack took place on September 27, 1969, near Lake Berryessa. A young couple, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, were relaxing by the water when a man approached them. He wore a dark hood over his head with a strange symbol drawn on the front. The man calmly told them he had escaped from prison and needed their car. Instead of leaving, he pulled out a gun, tied them up, and stabbed them repeatedly. Before walking away, he wrote dates and locations of his previous attacks on their car door. Cecilia later died from her injuries. Brian survived. This attack shocked investigators. It showed a new level of confidence and planning. The Zodiac had escalated from shooting at a distance to direct personal violence. He wanted his victims to see him. He wanted them to remember him. Just 2 weeks later, the Zodiac struck again, this time in San Francisco. A taxi driver named Paul Stein picked up a passenger in a quiet neighborhood. Minutes later, Paul was shot in the head. Witnesses saw the killer calmly walk away from the scene. Police arrived quickly, but a dispatch error described the suspect incorrectly. By the time officers realized the mistake, the Zodiac had vanished. Days later, the killer sent another letter. Inside was a piece of Paul Stein's bloody shirt. It was proof. He had been there. He had escaped. And he was watching the police fail in real time. The letters became more aggressive. The Zodiac mocked law enforcement, criticized newspapers, and threatened mass murder. He claimed to have a bomb. He claimed his victim count was far higher than police believed. Each letter increased the pressure on investigators and terrified the public. Schools altered bus routes, parents kept children indoors. People avoided parks, lovers' lanes, and late-night drives. Detectives worked relentlessly. Hundreds of suspects were questioned. Thousands of tips poured in. One name surfaced again and again: Arthur Lee Allen. He lived near several crime scenes. He owned weapons similar to those used in the attacks. He had spoken about killing people and referenced the Zodiac symbol. Yet every time police tested him, the evidence fell short. Fingerprints did not match. Handwriting did not match. Years later, DNA did not match. The case stalled, but the Zodiac did not stop writing. His letters grew stranger, filled with riddles, symbols, and disturbing language. Some were clearly designed to confuse investigators. Others appeared to exist only to prove that he was still alive, still watching, still in control. Then slowly, the letters began to stop. By the mid-1970s, the Zodiac disappeared as suddenly as he had arrived. No more confirmed murders, no more verified messages, no explanation, no arrest. The silence only deepened the mystery. Did the Zodiac die? Was he imprisoned for another crime? Did he simply choose to stop? Or was he watching from a distance, satisfied with the fear he had already created? The case remained open, cold, unsolved, and the Zodiac Killer slipped into legend.